Insanity. We we were doing this ad. We had a very successful ad in Australia, which musos are very embarrassed about because you shouldn't do that. Prostitute yourself. You can prostitute yourself every other way, And we'd done various ads for them, very, very successful. And one we did, and one of the versions of Down Down was in this kind of, it's all like, I can't do it now, that kind of, and it was very, I don't know, very acoustic-y sounding, similar to the way we've done this album. And it was mocked up in a film studio. Our manager wanted us to do something in a round, somewhat similar to the Presley thing that they did, blah, blah, blah. We sort of went along with it and did it for the ad, but there was something happened on that day. We were all thinking, there's something here. And at the time, he said, do you want to do that? And I think Rick was interested in the idea of it. And I wasn't at all, because it's a completely wrong idea at the time. And whether or not one could get, X tracks and make them all work.
We just got into one of those chats, and it just came about, what about doing some of the tracks acoustically, on stage instead of doing, well, why don't we do a whole album of acoustic? Yeah, sounds like a good idea, And it just sounded like an idea, that we could go away and think about, and maybe it'd happen, maybe it wouldn't, So we started rehearsing a couple of things up, and it sounded really good, the two guitars together, And then it became evident that really we should change the arrangements of a lot of things, and do them in a vastly different way. If we're going to do this, do it properly and make it very different. And it's turned out amazingly well. I mean,
most things that we've done over the years, the kind of, whatever it is, running on a big line, would have been written like that, and Down Down would have been written like that, and loads of stuff would have been written on acoustic. So you tend to try, and when we got, we had some of that, I suppose, and men with their testicles and stuff. And doing this album, you suddenly realise that, I'm not necessarily saying it was good or bad, but you have to fill up the thing. You've got this nice piece of melody, which has always been interesting with Quo. They've got this kind of cute little melody, this frigging noise what's going on there? And we'd done a couple of 3 tracks and got in there, and we were doing Paper Plane. Again, it just couldn't change much. It doesn't change too much. And I thought, it's not going to work. Most of the ones we've changed are all very... And by the end of the day or whatever, and I stood in the control room and thought, wow, because I've always liked Paper Plane as a melody. And I think that's when it's kind of dawned on everybody that I really like Paper Plane. I kind of like it more.
Although it's not electric in any way, it really rocks, and the tracks like Caroline, it changes tempo 3 times, And to do songs like And It's Better Now, we've never done live and stuff, to do them on acoustic, they're so beautiful. And For You, which is always not just because I wrote it, but just one of my favourite songs, and to get an opportunity to do that, especially with some string sections. I mean, there's been a lot of hair standing on a lot of arms, wow, it's so lovely. And I actually started welling up when I was singing it, and they said, well, I can't have any of that, do it again. I said, all right, I'll try, and I'm welling up, because it brings back so many memories to me of when I wrote it, of the wonderful or bad old days, whichever you would want to call them, when there were a lot of drugs around, and, but, I was thoroughly enjoying myself in those days, and as I am now in a much different way.
I don't think I've ever been this enthused about something, because I don't know. It's very difficult until we say the shit hits the fan, literally, Oh, blimey, that's... I know I often say that the various things we've done in our career, sometimes they look like a fantastic, it was a great move, guys, and it's got nothing to do with us. The rocking all over the world period, people kept saying to us, that's great timing. nothing to do with us, the timing. We started 3 months early, the drummer broke his foot, so things happen. So the same with this, I might be talking to you next year going, Jesus, that was a mistake, wasn't it? You know, we can recover from that, and then it could be the best thing we've ever done.
I think it will surprise a lot of people because, you know, rather than let's put some quo on and headbang, you can actually. I was sitting out on the terrace because I live in Spain now, and it was a beautiful evening, and just sitting out the back listening to this album and a couple of the tracks, just sit there with your feet up, and they're so peaceful and tranquil. And there's a couple of tracks on there that people are going to go, no, surely not, that can't be. Like, Don't Drive My Car, surely not. That can't be Status Quo, surely. It's that different. It's so different. It sounds like Stefan Grappelli and Django Reinhardt, you know, if I may be so bold. But it's just been a great experience recording it, you know, everything's different. And I think it throws a whole different dynamic and a different colour over the band in general, you know, and I think a lot of people are going to be very surprised. There's obviously going to be some people who are going to go, what a load of shit, you know, which there always are, but you can't please everybody all the time.
Well, exactly.
Otherwise you'd be Madonna, wouldn't you? Don't know what I mean by that, but...